Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be working on finish off all the caulking on the siding. Finally have some really nice temperatures, at least for the next few days, that will allow for me to do this with get up on the ladders with no weather, wind, or rain, which is a big treat. After doing that with the foundation, it was kind of tough for a week and a half of dealing with weather extremes back and forth. But this week we got some good temperatures, so we're going to get started on getting that done. That's one of the last steps we have on the siding. Fortunately, it's had to wait. So let's get started and we'll see if we can get this done. I know this week is going to be kind of a mixed bag of different work activities. I've got a lot of little stuff on the board to get done. Still waiting on the waterproofing membrane for the outside of the foundation so I can get that on there and then backfill. And so once that arrives, we'll get back to the house build. So until then, we're just going to keep working on the shop and knocking off the little things. So having come along and gotten the project done for the foundation, which I'm pretty happy about, that really turned out well. it was a lot of work for myself and Colleen helping out with the cement pour, but we managed to get that done. So we received some news regarding our trusses that one has me extremely upset, but also just goes to prove that you need to stay on top of things a lot better than you'd think. I put in my truss order about the same time that I did my lumber package. That was exactly 5 months ago, and I was told that everything was being worked on. Well, unfortunately, we received news that the guy who was doing the truss design and ultimately the ordering let the order slip through the cracks, as he said, and didn't bother to get it done until day before yesterday. So what that does for us is that now puts us out into November, and we're in April now, end of April now. It puts us into November, possibly December, before we get our roof trusses. My frustration in all this comes down that I did my due diligence and made sure that I had my plans to the building center months and months ago. And for them to let it drop through the cracks really is upsetting for a number of reasons. But I can tell you that if I were a large contractor, or I was building a multi-million-dollar house up on the lake, this certainly would not have happened, or they would have made some type of some type of recommendation or something to rectify the situation. But to just kind of tell me, oh well, it slipped through the cracks. It's, you know, here you're gonna pay full price with 8.5% inflation, and now we're knocking you out 6-7 months. It's something that really is upsetting with me. However, I'm not one to deal with adversity lying down. So one, I will work on my best. Tomorrow I'm headed down there to meet with the gentleman who made the mistake and see what they're willing to do to try and make things right. Although I don't anticipate a great deal, I think I'm kind of stuck behind the 8 ball here. It is what it is, and I might have to just suck it up and deal with it. However, that does require a shift in the plans on what I had planned on doing. Since the roof will have to wait until winter to actually get that on, we'll still continue on with the framing and get all that set. We still have our doors and windows on order. I can receive those and store all that stuff, and then possibly transition into doing the septic after the framing is completed. At least that's some of the thought that I'm looking at on getting that done. Is to continue on with the actual house build itself, and then just leave that stand, and then turn and work on septic and with a water system in the months that I've got good weather and good opportunity to do that. Still have to go through and take the test for the county on the septic. Still a daunting process, but that looks like that now has shifted gears, and that decision has been made to not have it contracted out but do it myself. So I'll definitely turn on that and start studying to take that exam and get that completed. But you know, that's the one thing that that really bothers me overall, is that unless you have a lot of money and a lot of power, it seems as if you're kind of stuck. And I know that a lot of Americans face that fact in this day and age, to where, you know, if you're just a little guy, you got to kind of take it in the shorts and all that. However, not something that I'm gonna do. You know, I'm not gonna be an angry asshole and go down there and raise a bunch of Cain about things. But I'm certainly going to be assertive and demand that Western Building Center do something to compensate us for that loss of time and finances on that part of the build. That's a big blow to what we're trying to do. In truth, two of my least favorite things are caulking and painting, which this is kind of what we're down to. And it's a lot of caulking, and it's really slow, but I'm trying to get it to where it looks really nice and blends in well. But we'll continue on with it. But I got to say that this is probably one of my least favorite things that I've done so far. good thing about having a to-do list is it lets me know things that I've forgotten. Like I forgot up here on the one of the eaves of the house to trim off all the shingles. So I'm going to get at that today and get that checked off my list. Forgot to get it done, so we'll just catch up on it today. One thing I wanted to do is also do kind of a quick update on the truss situation. Still outstanding with WBC quoting November, December for the trusses to be done, which is way too far out. But rather than let that be something that, you know, puts me down or depresses me to a point or frustrates me to a point where I don't get anything done, I decided to get into action and actually start calling around. So I've got calls into 3 different truss companies in the valley here to try and get an estimate on when or if I can get them earlier than November, December timeframe in and around the same cost. I did receive a call back this morning from Kalispell Truss, and they are working on a quote for me now on that. That's a huge deal because their timeline is end of July, early August as far as truss delivery. Now we just have to check and see what the pricing will be and if they can pull that off. And if they do, then I'll be more than happy to move my business elsewhere. One thing I can understand some mistakes, but ones that are that costly and that heavy as far as timeline goes are not something I can sit there and abide by, especially when you don't treat me like a customer. As I said earlier, that I really truly believe that if I were a big contractor or building a multi-million-dollar house, Western Building Center would have made sure to get my trusses done earlier than that. But because I'm a solo builder and it's a one-off house, it didn't seem to really concern them, and that's unfortunate because that is business that they lost, another company gained. But that's how it's going to work. You know, I'm out here to build a farm, not wait around on people to get stuff done. So a little update there. I will keep everybody posted as we get some more information on whether we'll get our trusses done early by another company. Well, we're about halfway. That's a good sign. Like I said, this is slow going, man. It's not the most exciting thing, but it is essential. So. Well, the good part is I was able to get a couple of different things crossed off my list here. That makes me happy if I can get at least one thing done on there a day or during a week, depending on the size of the project. The more happy I am with the overall outcome. Plus, it just keeps that forward momentum going. We just keep going. With the shop, that only leaves us with a few major projects. We have the front apron to do and the side step, and then, of course, paint. But the painting is going to wait until we actually get the house done, and we'll do everything all at one time. As long as it's waterproofed and won't sustain any damage from the weather, it's primed, so we're in good shape there. There's a wall off on the painting. But just a couple more projects, and the shop will be fully completed.